How you doing, everybody? Nick DiVirgilio here, and today's video is on this TD-1DMK electronic drum kit from Roland. Whether you're a beginning player or someone who's been playing drums for quite a while, this TD-1 kit from Roland is definitely something you should consider for a number of reasons. Number one, it's really easy to use. Number two, it comes with a set of really impressive sounds. It has tunable mesh heads, which is a really cool feature, a great feeling hi-hat pedal. It's easy to set up and get started. So there's a lot of great features. Let's get into all those details right now. The TD-1 kit comes with 15 preset drum kit sounds. Now that ranges from rock and roll to jazz, funk, hip hop, all kinds of EDM sounds, percussion sounds, really anything you could use, you could need to get yourself started playing all kinds of styles of music. Let's go through some of the sounds right now. I won't get through all 15, but I'll go through a few of them so you can get the idea of what you're hearing here. So number one, just your basic rock sound. Here we go. Those are really nice sounds. What's so cool about this kit is that the pads, we'll get into these details too, they feel really good and they're really sensitive and do the job of hearing those quiet notes, hearing the loud notes, so you can play with finesse and with feel, and they just work really well. So we'll get into those details in a second. Let's get to another sound. Number two, adding a little bit of reverb, so you can get a little more rock and roll. Here we go. Little side note here, it's also very cool that right out of the box, this drum kit allows you to set up a double pedal. So if you're an advanced player and you're using double kick drum grooves and double kick drum beats, you can easily set it on this TD-1 kit. Like I was mentioning, the hi-hat pedal feels really good, and you could feather the hi-hat like you would do on an acoustic pedal so easily. It's a really nice feature there. Let's get into some more sounds. A little EDM, a little dance music. Here we go. Really cool sounds all around the kit. Claps, little kind of high-endy hi-hat sound. Big beefy floor tom effect to add into the groove. And even the tambourine sound cymbal here chokes if you need it. So right out of the box, you can get pretty creative with the sounds that they give you in the machine here in the TD-1. I'm a huge fan of funk music, and they give you a really cool, very dry sounding drum kit right here to play some funk rhythms with. Love it. Dry in your face and sounds really good. A couple more for you here. All kinds of really fun sounding electronic sounds, and if you need some percussion, you have that as well. So much fun. So right out of the box, you get pop and rock sounds, jazz sounds, EDM sounds, and percussion sounds, and it's really easy to navigate through and get to any one of those kits right away. Before we get into more features from the TD-1 brain itself, let's talk about the pads and everything that comes with the kit here. Some really nice mesh pads like I was talking about. The snare is the PDX-8. It's a dual-triggered, tunable mesh head snare drum pad. Feels really good. Now, when I say tune it, you can tighten or loosen the mesh, okay? There's tension rods around the pad just like there are on the tom pads, and you tighten it up if you want a little more rebound, a little more stiff feel. Loosen it up if you want a little bit more of a kind of a gushy feel in the pad. It's a great feature at this price point of a drum kit to have that kind of feature to be able to manipulate the feel of the pads. Very cool. The cymbal pads are all CY5, so you get dual triggered ride cymbal pad, the chokeable feature on the crash cymbal, and again, the hi-hat pad feels really good. It's the same pad all the way around, but has a nice feel in the hands. Coupled with the FD1 foot trigger on the hi-hat, and like I was showing you before, super easy to use and just feels really nice as far as hi-hat triggers go. The fact that you can feather it, the way they talk to each other, the foot and the pad on the hand itself. The kick drum pad is one of my favorite features on this kit because it attaches to the rack itself. It's not a separate kind of trigger. It attaches there, it stays in place, and they purposely made it wide enough to fit a double pedal. And this particular pad, even though it's rubber, it's not mesh, is super sensitive as well. So listen how quiet the sound is compared to the loud sound. So even though you're not playing on acoustic drums, you can still practice your finesse, your feel as a drummer, which is really important, especially if you don't have a chance to play on acoustic drums that often. The rack here is cool because it's a very small footprint. This can fit in the corner of any small apartment or small bedroom, so you're not going to take up too much space when you want to play. It's really easy to put together. It doesn't come in too many pieces right out of the box. The center section is already kind of welded and put together, so that stays like that, and then you just attach the arms, and the clamps are almost all already on the rack. You just put the pads in whatever configuration you want. If you don't want it like this, you could easily put another pad down here and have two floor tom pads and one rack tom pad. You set it up however you want to, but this is sort of the basic configuration, and it only took me maybe 10 minutes to put together. Last thing I want to mention is how easy it is to connect the pads to the brain. It's all pre-configured for you. One connection into the brain itself, and then all the pads, the foot pads included, have their own color code, and they're already labeled for you, so you just plug them right in, and you're good to go. Okay, let's move on now and get into the coaching features of the TD-1 brain. Again, really easy to use. There's not very many buttons to push on the brain right here, right? You have the select button, which toggles you through. The drum kits are on number 1 there. Then your tempo, which is you're going to practice to your metronome. I'll show you right now. A coaching feature, we'll get to that in a second, and some songs. You can play along to internal songs. So when you're at drums, you just use the plus and minus to change kits, just like that. Simple and easy. Now let's get to tempo. Here's where you can practice your time. The metronome button is directly below the select button. Hit it and you'll hear the click track. Play along. Really cool. Now inside the box, if you want to adjust the subdivisions of the click, you just hold down the metronome button. They call it a long hold. Just hold it down and you'll see the LED change. Okay, now it's doing the accent on every 4 beats, but if I want to change that, just use the plus and minus. That's every 5 beats. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can practice your odd time. Cool things like that. And again, it's really easy to use. Just a long hold on the button, make all kinds of different changes. If you want to change the BPM, how fast the tempo is going, just use the plus and minus button. Take it wherever you want. Very simple. Now the metronome feature in itself is very cool in the TD-1, but they have a coaching feature where you can really hone in on your time, and it gives you visual feedback. So just hit the select button, go to coaching. Now there's 10 different coaching exercises in the TD-1, and they vary from easy to difficult. The first one I'm going to play you is just a time exercise. You could set it for how many bars you want it to go. I think I have it set for 8 bars, and I'll play along with the metronome, and it'll count me off. and through those 8 bars, I'll just play some drums. It'll tell me if I'm too fast or too slow, and at the end of the 8 bars, it'll give me the percentage of how many strokes I had that were actually in time with the metronome. So here we go. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Again, you'll have a 2-bar count off, and then you start playing. Here we go. $53. That was horrible. But what's cool is I can keep doing this and I can get better and better and better at it just by playing along with this cool coaching feature. Let me quickly point out to you what I was looking at on the little LED right here so you know what you're seeing. So when you play in time, when you're right on with the metronome, you'll see the square just stay solid. But when you play a little bit behind the beat, you'll see the line go to the left of the square. And if you're playing ahead of the beat, the line will go to the right of the square. So let me turn it on right now. Just play with one hand and I'll sort of point out what's going on here. 2-bar count off. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's the square. I'm right on. Now I'm a little head. Now I'm just all over the place. Find your center. There we go. 46. That was even worse than before. So just to make sure I'm not totally stinking up the joint, let's do it again and see if I can get a better score than 53. Here we go. Right on. A little off. All right. Hold it together, Nick. Come on. $62, a little bit better. But again, it's a really cool practice tool. They have features in here where you set the tempo at a starting point and then it speeds up and you can practice getting faster and getting slow and like following the click. It'll change subdivisions for you, just really cool exercises, all the way to the point where you can record yourself a little bit and hear yourself playing back and see if your grooves are any good. So just go up to number 10 in the coaching section, okay? And then once you hit the metronome button, it'll start recording and you just stop when you're ready. Then when you want to hear yourself back, just hit the plus sign. Oh yeah. So it's a lot of fun and you get instant gratification back by just hitting a couple of buttons and you're right into playing your instrument. You're not spending too much time worrying about menu diving or getting real deep into the box. You can just hit a couple of buttons and get to playing music right away. And finally, the other cool feature in the box, the TD-1, is the song feature. 15 different songs you can play along to, and the grooves are really cool, and it's just a lot of fun, and you can kind of go back and forth and practice all kinds of different grooves, different styles of music. So let's just start with number 1. Hit the metronome button. You'll hear the click track in the background. There's also an option where you can turn the click track off if you don't need it. But for now, I'll play along with the click track and the song. So much fun. It's cool percussion sounds in there, nice groovy feel to the music, which is very inspirational to what you want to play on the drums. And again, these pads and the feel of the pads are so cool. All of that ghost note-y sort of stuff that I'm playing in between the main beats are really coming out, and they're pronounced but in a nice musical way. Lots of fun. Let's find one more. It's a lot of fun. I love those old Simmons sort of boo 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 sounds that come with this kit. They sound really cool and very authentic. So hopefully you can tell in this short video how easy to use the TD-1 electronic kit is. It feels really good under the hands. The brain itself is really simple, just a few buttons to push. The coaching features are really cool. Get you inspired to want to play better drums and play better time. One final thing to show you are the inputs and outputs that are on the side of the brain right here. Very simple. You have a power button and aux input, so you can actually plug in your phone and play along to your favorite songs. An output jack, which would be your headphone jack if you want to use it that way. And finally, a very cool feature is USB to MIDI here. You can use the TD-1 with your DAW. Plug directly in, the driver works seamlessly. And if you have cool sounds on your DAW with other plugins, you can use the electronic pads here to play those sounds. There's also an app called Melodics where you can use it as a training tool where you can actually visually see beats going by on the screen and play along with that to improve your independence and your time there. The USB to MIDI feature on the TD-1 kit is great for a drum kit at this price point. There you have it, everybody, the Roland TD-1DMK electronic drum kit. Fantastic drum kit. It comes in at a great price point, really inspiring sounds to listen to, an easy brain to navigate through. You're going to be up and playing drums and making music in no time. If you want any more information about this Roland product or any other Roland product, just contact your Sweetwater sales engineer. Thanks a lot for watching.